Greetings, friends. I hope you're all having a very fantastic Christmas. Today is December 25th. It is about 9 o'clock, almost exactly 9 o'clock p.m. Um, I had a great Christmas, very quiet and relaxing. I have been working on some music, believe it or not, during these Christmas holidays as well. When the music keeps coming, you have to write, and that's how it is. Um, so, what's this video for? Well, obviously, we read the description. You know, it is my top 10 of 2024. I always do an end of the year sort of top 10. Uh, these are top 10 records. Excuse me, I got a bit of sniffles. Top 10 records uh, that I feel are top 10 records. I don't think this is like everybody would rank this in their top 10. Probably half the people won't even do even a quarter of what I probably have in my top 10. But these are records that really connected with me over the year. Some of them I listened to quite a lot. In fact, my number one, much like last year, my number one record I've listened to since it came out at the beginning of the year of 2024, pretty much till now. And I still listen to it, so it deserves its number one place with good reason. And actually, I can say that for the top three as well, that I've been listening to them pretty much consistently nonstop since then. Uh, and that doesn't say that doesn't mean that the rest of the records aren't good. They are good, but everything has to have a ranking. Not everything can be number one, as they say, right? So, without any further ado, got my list here. Let's go through the records. Coming in at number 10, this record. I don't know how many people have actually bought this record or listened to it. According to Wikipedia, it's their poorly ranked and the most poorly purchased record of their whole catalog for some reason, and that's Black Country Communion, album number 5. Number 5. Black Country Communion is again one of these super groups with Glenn Hughes, Derek Sherinian, Joe Bonamassa, and Mr. Bonham on drums there, Jason Bonham. Personally, I like this record. Excuse me. If you like Black Country Communion, their previous record, there's no reason at all why you shouldn't like this album, but maybe that's the problem. While it's a great record, it sounds good, the songs are good, they haven't really made they haven't cut any new paths in their sound or music, so maybe people are just like, if I want to listen to this, I could just pull out Black Country Communion 2 or whatever. So maybe it hasn't connected with people in that way, but I really do like this record, and I think it deserves to come into my number 10. It's one of these, flying under the radar records. Okay. Number 9, another record that, by the way, that came out on June 14th. I'm going to give you the release dates. So that came out June 14th. This record, and I'm going to show you next, came out March 15th, which is near the beginning of the year. And after it came out, I heard a little bit about it here and there, and it just kind of completely dropped off the radar. That's the thing I've noticed with the whole advent of the internet and record companies kind of dropping off and stuff like that. Albums don't seem to be on people's radars as long anymore. Because of the internet, there's so many different artists and bands that are out there releasing things on a daily basis that we just can't even keep up with some of the things. And I guess some of the things that we just like, we stick with, and those bands are luckily able to continue a career because of our loyalty. This is probably one of those bands because, like I said, after this record came out, I didn't hear hide or hair of it or see hide or hair of it after the fact. That's the Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards. Again, another record that sounds really good. I wasn't really into the Crows after. I mean, a lot of people say Amorica is good in those records afterwards, but I didn't buy those ones, to be quite honest with you. The last Black Crowes records I've owned is Southern Harmony Musical Companion. I love that record, and while this is not that, it's very good. Some of the songs on here are really well done. I really enjoyed it. It's rootsy, southern type rock, a lot of slide guitar, lots of great singing, Hammond organ, stuff like that. So if you like the Black Crowes, good record. That was number 9, and that came out March 15th. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep my stuff organized here. Okay, Number 8. Now, Bandcamp has been very useful to me. I love Bandcamp, not only for my own music project Gemini, but also for discovering lots of new bands. And this is an artist that I discovered through them. Well, and also I discovered him through the vinyl community. My good friend Vance is friends with this gentleman, and he kind of tipped me on to his music, and that's Ryan Kidd. I bought the cassette version of this. I am a cassette buyer. I am also clearly a CD collector and vinyl. But with the price of the vinyl going up like crazy, I'm sometimes going to CD and even to cassette. So here's his latest, Dead in Memphis, excuse me. This is the pink cassette version of it. This is power punk pop music. Very good. It's obviously more punk music, excuse me, Ryan, if you're listening. Great stuff. I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of punk music in general, but this is well done. I really liked it. It was catchy, to the point. The songs are well done. I didn't find myself, what am I looking for? I didn't find myself wanting to switch it off. Obviously, that sounds kind of stupid, but I didn't find myself, my attention didn't wander there. That's what I wanted to say. I was fully focused on it. Good record, good, great songs. I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest punk guy, but this definitely grabbed my attention, and I played this more, if you can believe that, than some of these other albums. And this came out August 2nd, and it does deserve to be ranked higher than the Black Country Communion and Black Rose, in my opinion. So, Ryan Kidd. Another band that I discovered, and that was number 8, by the way, for Ryan Kidd. Another band that I discovered on my number 7 pick was also on Bandcamp. I stumbled across them when I was looking through for some metal stuff. I'm a big metal guy, obviously, clearly. And I stumbled across this. I heard it. I sampled it in digital form and loved it. It's speed metal. I love speed metal stuff. And this is a band called Speed Rush. I know you probably can't really read that too clearly, nor the album title, but it is called Division Mortality. There you go. I, again, as you can clearly see, bought it on cassette. Cassettes sometimes are the way to go. I have a working operational cassette player that sounds great, and I'm able to listen to this as much as I want to, and it sounds great on cassette. I haven't given up on cassettes either, in my opinion. Sometimes they sound really good if they're done well. Hey, all this fad with people saying, analog tape. Cassette's analog tape, so you should like cassettes, sure, it's not, quarter-inch tape or 1-inch tape, but, still, if you keep your cassette players running well and you have a decent player, cassettes can sound awesome. Okay, so Speed Rush, a lot of great songs on here. Again, very punchy production. I believe the band is from Greece. There is 9 songs on this album. Well worth listening to if you like listening to speed metal stuff. Fantastic stuff. I absolutely recommend this highly. This is number 7, and this came out October 11th. Okay. Now I'll get to a couple of things that might be a little bit more familiar to some people. My number 6 is a pick that my friends and family would have been absolutely shocked to hear that I'm now listening to this band, because when they first came out years ago, I never listened to them. I wasn't really into them at all. But something happened, something switched in the old noggin, and I started computing with their music a little bit more. They're a Canadian band, and maybe my recent fascination with my most current record called Canada Stories and Legends, which I focused on writing about Canada, maybe started making me appreciate Canadian music a bit more. So this really connected with me. I took a chance and bought it, and I really enjoyed it. And that's the Tragically Hip. Up to Here. This is a box set of the first record that came out. This is a 3 CD, 1 Blu-ray audio disc as well. It has the 2024 remaster of the record, plus some demos stuff, and there's also a full live show from the Misty Moon Club in Halifax, Nova Scotia, that was done in 1990 in April. Plus, there's 4 previously unreleased studio tracks, 16-page booklet. There's all kinds of stuff in here. I mean, just really quickly, I don't want to make this video like 3 hours long, but you got some kind of nice discs here with stuff, and there's a, here's another one with stuff. It's very well done. What else can I say about this? It's if you haven't gotten into the hip, let's just put it this way, if you don't know much about their music, this might be a good entry point to get into them. This is early on in their career. This is when they were pretty much a solid sort of rock bar band at the time. And if you like that sort of straight ahead, no nonsense, no bullshit rock and roll, this could be the perfect entry point for you for this band. Okay, so that was number 6, The Tragic Leap. That came out in November of this year. So pretty recent this came out. And it's ranked that well with me that it's at number 6. Number 5, this is another Bandcamp discovery. And the fact that it's on number 5 shows how much this really hit me hard. And I really, really enjoyed this. This is a band from the UK. They released 2 discs simultaneously, but I'm going to feature this one as my number 5, and I'll show you the other one in a second. But this reminds me very much of stuff like Marillion, and more importantly, why it really connected with me, they're a 3-piece, and it reminded me very much of like Grace Under Pressure, Signals era Rush. And this is a band called Trilogy with Hidden Mysteries. This stuff was actually recorded back in the late 80s, I believe it was. And only now did they find their master tapes and was able to do a proper release of it. And again, it definitely sounds like something from that time era, 82 to 84-ish. It's a really well done package here. I'm just trying to get the booklet out here. Here's the cover. Here's some photos with lyrics. They're a 3-piece, obviously. And I really enjoyed it. I think musically they're really, really solid. And the great thing is that they aren't one of these bands where they just found their old tapes and now are re-releasing it and that's it. They are actually going to be doing a brand new album that's supposed to come out in 2025, which I'm going to be looking forward to very much. This is the other thing that they released at the same time. It's called the Gold Dust Tapes, which is just a 3-song sort of demo that they did of material that they also committed to that committed to CD. That's a kind of cool thing with the reel of tape there in the actual box where they found their masters. I didn't place this one in it because the quality of the material is a little, like the sound of it's a little more shaky, but the music is there. But I highly recommend this one. You can still get it on Bandcamp. Just look up Trilogy, Hidden Mysteries. You'll find it there. I'm pretty sure there's still CD copies available. Great album. Highly recommended. And again, that came out July 19th it came out. And I've been listening to it quite consistently. Okay, so now we're on to number 4. Now, this stuff is all going to be really familiar. Whether you like it or not is another story. But the first one I'm going to talk about here, number 4, this is an artist that I have adored for a long, long time. I'm a big supporter of him, talk about him a lot on the internet. I've watched many different podcasts related to him. And the latest release that came out now is called Whiskey A Go-Go 1968. And I'm talking about Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. This is a 3-CD sort of deluxe edition release of a full gig that they did. And I believe it was multiple shows in one night that they did. I think they did 2 shows that night at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Unbelievable stuff. This is with the lineup that's probably my least favorite lineup of the band. And that's what I find interesting about this. This is the lineup that was from the start of the band, like a la Freak Out and that stuff. We're Only in It for the Money, that has Zappa, Ray Collins on vocals, Ian Underwood on alto sax, Bunk Gardner on tenor sax, Don Preston on keyboards, Motorhead Sherwood on baritone sax, Ray Estrada on bass, Art Tripp on drums, and Jimmy Carl Black on drums as well. was never big on that uh, lineup because while they did great records like Freak Out, Absolutely Free, and We're Only in It for the Money, they also did stuff like Uncle Meat, which just went over my head, and a few other things that I wasn't too hip on. But this is really good. I mean, the whole whiskey improvisation parts where they do like they start off the show doing improvisational musical bits are fantastic. If you like that sort of stuff, America Goes Out and Drinks they do, which is really funny. Help I'm a Rock. A lot of the classic old stuff is on here. Tiny Sick Tears Jam, Hungry Freaks Daddy, King Kong. It's all on here and recorded really well. Joe Travers has always done a fantastic job of cleaning up these tapes, and putting out high quality, crystal clear versions of these albums, whether it's a live thing or a studio album. But this is number 4 for my year, 2024. Great stuff. Number 3. This is a box set again. I'm a big fan of this band since as far back as like 15, 16 years old. This band has gone through several lineup changes. One of the lineup changes that they've had has been very poorly represented as far as remastering goes and re-releasing of some of their material with this singer, namely. And I'm so happy that they finally went ahead and did a decent box set that's both on vinyl and CD. The vinyl was very expensive for me. I live in Canada, so the shipping and conversion and all that was really expensive, so I went the CD route. And I'm talking about Black Sabbath, Anno Domini, 1989 to 1995. This is all the albums, well, not all of them, keep in mind. 4 albums from the period with Tony Martin. You have Headless Cross, Tear, Cross Purposes, and Forbidden. The reason why Eternal Idol is not on this is because it is not an IRS release. This is the IRS years for the band. They were still on Warner Brothers when they did Eternal Idol, so that cannot have been released on this box set. But this is great. I love Tony Martin stuff. For me, my favorite record out of this has always been Tear. I thought it was a great combination of more current metal at the time with his singing. I think they finally found their footing with Tony by that record. Headless Cross, it was good, but it still seemed like they were still unsure of themselves a bit with him. And then, of course, Cross Purposes was really good. Cross Purposes was the record that they wrote with Dio in mind because they were I think Dio had just left the band at that point. Again, they did the Humanizer, he left, and then they got Tony back and did this. But you can clearly tell that this is a record that they wrote with Dio in mind. And Forbidden is just not very good, in my opinion, but I'm glad that it's here, if just for collecting reasons. So, number 3, Black Sabbath, that came out May 31st, and is my number 3 selection. Now, my number 2 is something that's not going to be a big surprise to people who know me and know about the kind of music I listen to. I love this artist. I'm glad that this has gotten done in full. I have many different versions of stuff that's on here, and I'll explain. Let me just show what it is, and I'll explain more clearly. I have to pick this up. It's kind of big. Okay, this is David Bowie. This is called Rock and Roll Star. It is a very large book here, as well as a sort of doodling book in here, of a recreation, of course, of his book that apparently he would write his lyrics in and stuff like that, and write songs and make notes and stuff. This is the book that he had when writing this album. And the album, of course, that we're going to be talking about here would, of course, be Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. Easily my favorite David Bowie album. I did a huge breakdown of his whole catalog on my Instagram page, and ranked all his records, and that was number 1, with Station to Station being number 2. And I'm glad that they did this. There's 5 discs and a Blu-ray. There's some live material from the Peel sessions, which some of them are on the BBC box that came out a while back, which I have on vinyl, by the way, which is a great purchase. But a lot of the stuff you can find in other areas, but this is all together in one great package. Stuff is remastered. There's some singles in here, some stuff that I don't think I've even heard, and I'm a pretty big collector of Bowie stuff. Some different mixes and different stuff like that. If you like this album, this is a must-have. It's not cheap, but if you love this album, it's a great box set to get. The book itself is fantastic. I didn't pull it out because it's heavy. I got a bit of a bad wrist too right now from playing guitar lately, so I didn't want to hold up this heavy book. But it has lots of great pictures, great descriptions of the record and the recording sessions. So if you like Bowie and you like that album, buy it. This came out June 14th, which made it even more special. My birthday is June 9th, so it was right around my birthday, and that's why I had to get it. So David Bowie, number 2 rock and roll star. And my number 1 pick for this year is one that I knew by June it was going to be my number 1 because I love this record. I was not shocked that it was good because lately they had been releasing so many great records, these guys, and I'm so glad that this came out and it was as good as it is. I still listen to it all the time. They released a couple of singles on YouTube, like videos for them as well, well ahead of their album's release, and so I already knew that it was going to be a banger, as they say, and great stuff. And I'm also glad to hear that it was not their last record. This album came out March 6th, so that's telling you that came out a long time before, and it's still listened to almost on a weekly basis by me, and that is Judas Priest, Invincible Shield. This is the number 1 record in my opinion of this year. I know I was going to say, no, you're crazy, this and this, and what about a Dylan release, and I don't know, whatever. No, this is by far, in my opinion, the best release of 2024. Every song on this record is fantastic. My friend John Bip Boom says, he would say it's a 10-star album all day long, and I believe it is. He won't agree with that. Me and him had some good debates about that on the live streams that I do with him. But to me, this is a 10-star record, easily as good as Firepower in my opinion, maybe even better. And I really enjoy this album. I love it. Everything from Panic Attack to Serpent and the King is great. Gates of Hell. Gates of Hell. Sorry, it's just hard to read some of this text. Crown of Horns is great. I mean, everything on here is really fantastic. Well recorded. They still have Glenn Tipton working on the musical part with them as well, and the writing end of things. And I gotta say, just this band is really well, performed on this album. Rob Halford sounds fantastic. I mean, Scott Travis's drums are still brilliant as ever on here. What more can I say? The guitar playing is incredible. This, to me, is the album of the year. Judas Priest, Invincible Shield, came out March 6th. This is the best album of the year, in my opinion. If you don't agree with me, great. You don't agree with me, but that's what I think. So thank you for watching. Hope you guys had a great Christmas. I'll probably do one more video before the end of this year to talk about a few other things. And yeah, I'll leave it at that, and I will talk to you all later. Hope you have a great Christmas once again. And if you want to leave your comments, please do. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. And yeah, let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Bye for now.